Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have another FSD supervised video, and this time we're doing it with light snow conditions. It's currently snowing. It's a little bit of a light snow, but it's still conditions that are snow based. So we're going to see if there's any improvements with FSD version 12.5.4 with snow conditions. We're currently on 12.5.4.1, and we've got our residential route here over here. And let's go ahead and just need to press record over here and go ahead and try this out. So engaging FSD right now. There's a truck right behind me. Interestingly enough, it doesn't really show the bins in front of me. It does highlight them as clouds. Gets a little bit close. I had to give it a tap over here just because of the bug where FSD does not like to take off from parked positions. Currently that's a bug. Okay, it's stopping here because of that pedestrian on the right, but okay, so far so good. It's being a little bit on the cautious side, but that's okay. I don't really see the need for FSD to really bump down the speed because of these conditions. It's currently mostly wet conditions. The snow is not really sticking to the street, but it is sticking to the trees and to the cars. So I think it warrants for a good testing video to see how, if there's any differences, basically, with if we see any differences. So you can see, for example, the car on the left that is parked, or the one on the right, it's got snow on its glass. It still sees it properly on the visual. Nothing really crazy in the behavior of the wheel. It's still smooth. And great speed selection over here as well. So happy with that. Okay, coming up to a right turn over here. I am wearing my sunglasses, but it is having active monitoring. Great stop over here. Nice acceleration. And a very big boost, the usual big boosts that we see. Ooh, it is coming up to a slowdown here. I think it's just seeing the flashing lights in front of us and it's braking because of that. The flashing lights does not mean you have to stop. It's just informing the drivers or the cars or the vehicles, people on the road, that there are people that are crossing or have crossed. Coming up here to this unprotected left, there is a car in front of us. It is signaling to turn right. So the car sees that and immediately proceeds. Very nicely done. Another big boost over here. It'll be interesting to see how the auto speed's going to change, especially because we're going from auto max to setting up our own maximum speed threshold, and that'll be really needed for snow driving, because if you haven't seen my tests previously from the end of the last season, I do like to tone down the speed limit by going through here in the menu, going through I think that was off. The offset. So typically I offset it in the minus 10 kilometers per hour, but really it doesn't really do anything here because of the automatic set speed offset. But typically when I do that, it helps with snow conditions where the road's slippery and we need the car to slow down a bit. Now, ooh, this is a wrong right. Yeah. So yeah, this is the service lane over here. So, or the it's typically used for buses. So incorrect lane selection. Picking the service lane. So yeah, it's picking that service lane over here. This is used for buses and for utility vehicles and so on. So I went ahead and disengaged for that. It's very odd, to be honest. Like, I haven't seen this happen before, um, especially in good conditions and so on. Interesting with this intersection over here. The lines created by a little bit of precipitation, I think, is causing it to think that there's dedicated turning lanes or something like that. Yeah, I haven't seen that before. We do have the message full self-driving may be degraded, and that's very usual. I like the windshield, so the windshield's not going too crazy. Let me check out my settings over here. Am I using heated windshields? I don't know if that's something that needs to be automated. I'll go ahead and turn it on and see if there's a. And I'll turn on my. I'll turn on my automatic heated seats and automatic heated steering wheel. Just because it's winter now, and again we're picking the wrong lane over here, and this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen, and we've done this test before, and we haven't seen these issues without these precipitation conditions. Excuse me. All right, so we're coming up to this yield over here. It's clear, and we should be able to go smoothly. Nicely done. So yeah, it is snowing, and you can see there's a little bit of light snow, but it is on and off, and it's becoming mostly precipitation. The temperature right now is -1, so that's why it is actual snow, technically. So, let me let me know in the comments below if you're happy with what I'm saying or not. I'm going to go ahead and disengage over here because of the school zone, and can engage back over here. That'll probably reset the algorithm to go a little bit slower. And now I'll tap on the accelerator just to get it to boost up again. So that's typically how I disengage for school zones or playground zones. Yeah, it'll be nice to get that back and running, because version 12.5.4.1 does not detect 30-kilometer speed zones anymore. There's a guy really riding my rear over here. Oh, there's a flashing light, but nobody's crossing. I think it just went off. And then we're coming up to a 30-kilometer speed zone again, and this is not going to get detected, so I'm going to hit the brakes. Just don't want to get a ticket. There's a guy right behind me, so I'm going to give him way. I don't know, what does he want? I am going to turn right over here, so as people are driving like crazy these days. This is like, it's 4:30 right now, so it's rush hour. People are going home and so on. I'm going to disengage again because we are in a school zone, and clearly the person in front of me is also not following the school zone. Speed limits. Here's a yield sign. Sometimes it doesn't really follow the yield sign properly and treats it as a stop. This is a perfect yield scenario over here. Like, when you're driving as a normal driver, you tend to just ride it and you don't like slow down, and you slow down to check for traffic, and then you just pick up the speed, and if it's clear, and you go ahead. So yeah, I'm happy with how it did that. Let me just stop this one. I'm hoping I can find within like these residential areas. Sometimes if a road's not being used that much, you kind of get snow covered streets, and then we can try and figure out if we can see how FSD behaves on those roads. But unfortunately, the snow is not really sticking on the streets. Some sidewalks it is, but unfortunately it's not that intense. We're going to do our loop over here. And then we'll be heading to our next destination. So yeah, so far, a little bit of weird lane selections, incorrect lane selections, and school zone areas are the same. That's expected, really. Some nice Halloween decorations going on. Okay, so we are going left over here. And yeah, it's not stopping as well, so I like that. There's no stop sign, so it shouldn't. That's a very big boost for if we have actually snow conditions. And over here we're stopping, for example, but it's a yield sign and the visibility is great, so it's very unpredictable. And we shouldn't really be stopping there. Anyhow, let's go ahead and see how it does on this right turn over here coming up. Honestly, there hasn't been enough time for folks to pick up their fallen leaves, like for the snow to come. So yeah, hopefully we don't get a lot of drains that are plugged. Okay, so let's see how it does this. It comes to a complete stop here. It should. And then we're allowed to do our right on red, so it's going to do a creep. Then let's see here on the screen, it's going to see a bus, a car changing to a bus, changing to a truck. And it's clear there's a car right behind it, but it's not that, it's a truck, and we still have quite the distance. Changing lanes over here and giving us the error for the FSD degraded. The other thing I do typically is I turn on my defogging. That really helps with the snow that sticks on the windshield. That normally, in the last 2 years that I've been testing, that's the perfect setup for me, and I kind of lowered the temperature a little bit, just sacrificing being a little bit cold for the windshield not to freeze and not to give me any issues. And if you get a lot of issues on the windshield, it'll cause an issue with the cameras in the front. And then once you get that, you run into a loop of multiple errors and the dreaded red steering wheel error as well. You can hear the squeakiness on the windshield right now. Okay, so we should be turning right now. So it should be picking up this lane between these two cars, and it's picking up that gap nicely. It's signaling left for some reason. That's very weird. So why does it think we're turning left? I don't know. And now it's signaling right. Okay, that's a little bit of an odd situation. I just had to open up the map and check if I'm if it's routed properly or what's going on exactly. But yeah, it fixed itself. Like, you can't really, it's weird. Yes, it didn't slow down. Previous versions, if it's kind of routing itself the wrong place or so on. Yeah, and it's pretty clear. But we didn't get much of a creep. That's another thing we've been noticing differently. You don't get that much of a creep on intersections, and makes you wonder. And you really have to trust with the system here if it's actually going to stop if a car appears out of nowhere from that intersection. Anyhow, that's kind of just some thoughts to think about. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about these sort of behaviors. I will definitely be much more comfortable if it does indeed like creep a little bit, takes a little bit more time to creep forward. I don't know if it's actually the latency is way down now, that it's making it actually work better and faster, or if it's just winging it and skipping the creep or going too fast on the creep. Okay, so let's see here. Another yield situation here. Yeah, is it gonna treat it as a stop? No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. I think it's fair to say the right side is really occluded. Like we've got shrubs and stuff like that, and now it's coming up to a stop here. I think it sees that pedestrian in the front, and it's stopping for them. This is another thing with FSD. It tends to be a little bit more on the cautious side. And yeah, didn't tap the accelerator or anything. It slowed really down, almost to a complete stop, and then started picking up the speed a lot, a bit more gradually. So, yeah, that's okay with me. You know, being on the safe side is way better than not. And now it's picking up a very slow pace here of 20, and that's really not needed. So yeah, it's automatic speed set is a lot of you know, crazy dynamic slows and fast situations that it gets itself into. This is the usual stuff. We haven't really. There are pedestrians on our left here. There are two, and let's see if they're gonna cross. Doesn't look like it, and the car proceeds. So yeah, also very nice, nicely handled. I like the way that's handled, to be honest. And now we're gonna come to a stop here. This is a heavy traffic road, and yeah, it can see pretty far here, even though there's a tree right next to us, and there's a lot of traffic both ways. So let's see how it's gonna deal with this. And this is a tough one, to be honest. And yeah, I don't think we have much of a gap on our right for vehicles to pass. Oh, nice. So it's noticing that there's no traffic anymore after, and it slowly starts doing the creep maneuver to basically go ahead, and that was very well done. Like it didn't even like stall for a second there. Like the second there was a clearance in, or there's a gap in traffic, you can see the car starting to go forward. That was really, really well done. I did not anticipate it's going to do that well. I thought it's going to wait for a bit and then it's going to go ahead. But yeah, that was really nicely done. Okay, so we have a left turn coming up over here. This is a four-way stop, so we have turns. Okay, so we were first, so it's going to have to go. Okay, so it decided to wait for that vehicle. So yeah, that's debatable a little bit. I don't know why there was hesitation. I really thought that, you know, it shouldn't really hesitate. There's pedestrians here on the right, so we have to be careful, and a 30-kilometer speed zone, which surprisingly enough, it did slow down, but it doesn't read it, so it says still max. Okay, let's go ahead and put our next destination here. It still says 50 max, so it doesn't read it. So let's be clear here. It's coming up to a stop here. I think this is because of the previous destination or waypoint, or it's because of that car with the pedestrian right there next to it. So it's also debatable. So far, so good. So with these light conditions, I'm not too worried. Light snow conditions, it's when you get into that slippery surfaces, and I don't even have my winters on. Like I'm gonna put my winters on probably next weekend. But yeah, these conditions are very, very light snow conditions, and it's doing very well, and I'm happy with that. There's a lot of like weird situations, weird behaviors, like it's picking up the wrong lane, and you can debate it's probably because of the snow, or it's not seeing properly, or like it's very hard to tell. It did pick up that 30. Now, I'm not too sure if it's map data that helped it pick it up or not, but that was probably like the first or second 30-kilometer speed zone that it picks up in this FSD version so far. So yeah, it's not really that well. And I don't like that it's getting too close to that curb there. That's going to, oh, another 30 here. Nicely picked up as well. So yeah, it's and this is one thing that was pointed out by someone also on X, and I noticed as well myself. Like at the beginning when the version came out, the FSD version, it didn't pick up any of the school zones. And now all of a sudden, after like a couple of weeks of driving with this version, it's slowly starting to pick it up. So, and and this was asked as well during the event for this is a four-way stop, so that car has to stop for us. Even though it did, like it was like really late in slowing down, our car still proceeded, which is, I think, is the right thing to do. Um, but yeah, it was borderline. If you're a defensive driver, you would stop still. I would have slowed down just a little bit more. But anyways, so yeah, I was saying the engineers for full self driving also were basically saying that during a version, there's no changes that happen in the background. Another 30-kilometer speed zone that gets picked up. That's insane. I don't know how this is happening. I have to go back and look at the video and see if it's actually changing speed limits from 50 to 30. But anyhow, all right. Let me see if I can adjust this. Yeah, I want to do this left turn over here coming up. So no changes during the version. So how do you explain that it's getting better? Like that's what really boggles my mind. Like I don't understand, and it really does. Like when you first drive it, you always point out the faults, and then we've got a unprotected green here, but there's no traffic opposing us. So that was a that was a very easy one. I was hoping for it to be a little bit more challenging. So yeah, we don't know how they are. What are they doing in the background there? That's any changes or anything like that. Even though they told us they don't, it still feels like there is. But anyhow, that could be just my my gut feeling, and it's not really what is happening. Okay, folks. So yeah, we've got a nice situation here. I guess there's traffic right behind us, so it's kind of boosting up here to kind of overtake them, and you can see it in the side repeater. Yeah, the other thing also I noticed with the active monitoring, it's doing really good. Like it didn't even ask me once to hold the steering wheel, so that's pretty good as well. In this situation here, I would have taken the left lane. You know, these minor things that as humans you find it logical, but as a robot you don't. I would have taken the left lane early on, just so that I'm ready to take that left turn coming up after this this segment here. So yeah, let me folks let me know in the comments below if you want me to test anything else on the next snow, which is I think we're gonna have another snowfall in another 2 weeks or so. It's not long here, and then we're pretty much gonna get into heavy snow testing, um, which that excites me a lot. And I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of interventions and disengagements with that. I don't think we're going to see huge progress from last year, but we never know. Yeah, we never know. And then with the settings, let me know if you want me to change any of my settings. I'm still rocking the average profile, and yeah, I don't think there's going to be any other changes that we can do. Other than that, the average and the hurry and chill, but that's mainly on the highway, so I don't really understand in 5.6 how that's gonna work out. But we'll sort it out and we'll figure it out together, and we'll do the testing, and it'll be exciting. So yeah, folks, I'll let you go over here. But if you want to continue watching, I'm just going to be quiet. And I think there's one 3-way stop that's coming up over here. And hope you folks like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. It'll help me a lot. I really want to drive more subscribers to my channel. So if you want to share this video with your friends and family, please do. And yeah, hope we see you on the next one. Have a nice day. All right, this is a hard stop over here. There's a lot of cars normally that come in pretty fast on both ways. It's clear right now. It does a really slow creep to double check, and it goes for it. Awesome. Very well done. No complaints at all.